Oh no, oh that's a really hard question. Every take was so electric and you never knew what was coming next, and it was just a kind of masterclass, I think, watching it. Hi, I'm Lucy Boynton and I'm chatting to Cosmo UK. I don't know, I think that's the joy of doing a period piece and wearing those kind of extravagant costumes and everything, because when you step into them, you're really exiting yourself. And so when you step out of them and you de-wig and de-makeup and all of it, it does feel like such a departure from that world. So maybe that makes it slightly easier. When you're doing like really dark material, sometimes you all do stay in that kind of stasis of contemplation and introspectiveness and quietness, and then sometimes you need the catharsis. And yeah, there was a lot of laughter in the last few days of this, of just like needing that kind of purging of all the feelings. So it was just a really great cast to be around as well, especially like the last few days. It was me and Harry Melling and Harry Lawty, and that was just a really great gang to be a part of. We ended up watching loads of trailers for loads of like really obscure 80s movies, 90s movies and stuff that would just never be made now, and for some reason that was a massive trigger for hysterical laughter, so that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately not. No, there's a small text chain of me and the Harrys trying to get together, but no. The Bohemian WhatsApp group has not ceased since 2017. It is ongoing, so it's hectic. I really tried to learn for this, and credit to my teacher Tom, who just was so unbelievably patient with me. I think I could say I can play the piano. I learned one piece that actually didn't end up making it into the film at all. So I can play that one piece uselessly, but yeah, I can sell it at least, I think. Oh my God, what am I most scared of? General humanity kind of terrifies me, and walking alone at night because of people. For this film specifically, it felt kind of organic. The preparation for the dark scenes was kind of easier because they were at the very end of filming. They were the kind of last 3-4 days of filming. So it was kind of cathartic to purge all of that I'd been kind of holding in throughout the duration of filming. But I think it changes from job to job, but I think you're just really lucky when you're in an environment like I was with this one, where all of the creatives, the actors, the director, the crew are all take their craft and like the work really seriously. So it allows you to kind of to go to the extreme, or allows you to really like dive in and experiment and just throw yourself into it without any sense of self-consciousness or self-awareness. I think again, it's really dependent and different job to job how I find the character and get into them. Yeah, it's hard to articulate because it's usually just such a like internal feeling. Maybe music is the easiest access point, or like the most kind of visceral access point to each character, because you can get into like the character but also like the tone of the scene and the tone of the day. If it's a kind of a period piece like this, I'll listen to music that just feels appropriate for the kind of the emotions of the scene. I think that really helps like anchor me in it. And also, especially with like period pieces or contemporary pieces, like the music really centers you in a time and place. So that's probably the easiest access point. Just watching her work, watching every take be so alive, and that sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but I think it's easy to make a decision and kind of dig further into a scene, and so you kind of root yourself more and more in it, whereas she seems to, especially with this character, just like bring it all to the surface every take. So every take was so electric and you never knew what was coming next, and it was just a kind of masterclass, I think, watching it. And also just getting to spend time with her and talk to her about her experience in the industry was fascinating. She's just so intelligent and witty and just interesting, fascinating person. I'm actually really bad at watching horror films. I don't like the jump scares that much, or the gore that much. I really love making any kind of horror film, but yeah, it's trickier to watch. I mean, I went through a phase when I was a teenager of watching just horror film after horror film, and was really traumatized by Wolf Creek and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Wolf Creek especially, I just like, no offense to the filmmakers, don't recommend. It was horrifying. But I think now I gravitate more towards the art house horror, like Psycho and The Shining, rather than just straight up chainsaws. If I had to steal one character's wardrobe, maybe, ooh, that's a really hard question. Maybe Rafina in Sing Street. I loved a lot of that double denim, 80s intensity, or Mary and Bohemian Rhapsody, because that 70s stuff was so good, and I did try and steal a lot of that. I don't know, I guess auditioning for Sing Street was pretty intense. We were doing chemistry reads, screen tests on the stoop that we were gonna film those scenes on. So it felt really close and visceral and tangible, which was kind of excruciating as well. And also obviously all the auditions where you like really throw yourself in and you leave like shaking, crying because you thought that that's what it called for, and it just definitely didn't. But yeah, the Sing Street one at least turned out well, so it was a good memory. I'm gonna cheat and choose two. One classic is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, because it's the most exquisite exploration of otherness, and it is just so beautiful. And she was like 18 when she wrote it, and did invent the sci-fi genre, so it's a remarkable piece of literature. And then second to that is a contemporary book called Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nilsson, and it is just exquisite. It's so, so beautiful, and he writes in such a lyrical, poetic way, and I highly recommend. I never know the answer to this, because I think the best advice is always like the most kind of straightforward and fundamental. My mom has always taught us like from a very, very young age of just lead with kindness. You can never regret being kind. And that sounds really simple, and I wish I had something much more profound to say, but I think that is just a kind of bedrock of making your life and other lives easier. So maybe that. Thank you so much for watching. You can catch The Pale Blue Eye on Netflix January 6th.